oh my God, dear listener, if you had heard the first, what do you reckon, Jay, 25 episodes of this podcast?
111, I think.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamilton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Today's guest, Mick Walker, has been making award-winning videos for major brands around the world for over 17 years. He's all about keeping video production simple and accessible, something that he calls video made simple. Mick, that is what you've got written on the background behind you there as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah, funny enough. I mean, I didn't get the neon sign first, then build the business around it. But yeah, it seemed to make sense to have something there just to remind people, yeah.
So can we start there? Because when I think about the conversations I have with small business owners around video, the word overcomplicate always comes into it, and they never say, what's the simplest thing I can do? So how do most people overcomplicate video?
Yeah, I think it kind of takes me back to when I started in the industry, really. It was, I've been doing this since like 2010, I think, Box Set Media launched. But then I was freelancing from around about 2005. And when I was at school, I just loved making videos. Like I was, 15 years old on my computer at home, making animations, and I had such a good time doing that. And so when I realized I could launch a business in video marketing and work in that industry around where I lived in the East Midlands, I was like, this is great. This is going to be an industry that everyone's going to, it's going to be creative. It's going to be fun. But then as soon as I got into like working for a company and working closer with clients, I realized that I was kind of the only person having fun and the only person that wanted to enjoy it and like be creative. And it was, because everyone has this idea of corporate video being a bit outdated, and you have this image of like 80s or 90s style videos and cheesy graphics, and so I guess when I started, a lot of projects would just drag on indefinitely. I mean, you've worked in the civil service, so you know what kind of red tape looks like. And so for me, that was kind of what led me to leave employment and start my own business, because video production it's a simple process. It's a 4-step process of planning what your video is going to be, gathering all the content through filming or animation, cutting it together, and then outputting it and sharing it with the right audience. Now that's all it is. And you can do that with, social media or making videos for YouTube or webinars, anything like that. But the problem I find a lot of small businesses in particular have, this isn't something I thought I'd say on a podcast, to be honest. I don't think you've had this word before, but it's incest. And that is the biggest issue I see in small business. I don't know if you're going to cut that bit out and put it at the intro so people think this whole podcast is about incest, but either way, that's
whatever it takes to get our listener numbers up.
Yeah, exactly. But it's obviously it's marketing incest. It's that phrase where businesses see what other businesses are doing. I think, oh, okay, that guy's doing videos on LinkedIn. I just want to copy what they're doing, and I'll get some kind of results from my business. And unfortunately, that's not how it works, because you never know what results that person is getting. And also, you don't know what is right for your business. So what I always tell small businesses to do is to look at, so I've created this video content roadmap. So it essentially takes any business through the 7 stages of a customer journey, from being a complete stranger to a business through to sales, and past the sales process through onboarding, and then becoming an advocate. And what I tell every business to do is to look at that roadmap, look at that process, and think about where the weaknesses are in their business. So some businesses may have incredible pipelines, be getting loads of leads in, but they're just really struggling to convert those into customers, in which case they need a sales video. That is the one thing that they should focus their attention on, not social media, not this, that, and the other. If sales is where they have the problem, then that's where they should start with video. On the other hand, they may have a fantastic, sales process in place, but they're just not getting leads in. People don't know they exist. In which case, okay, maybe social media is what you should be focusing on, or maybe building a channel on YouTube. It's really looking at your business and where the weaknesses are, which is, which a lot of businesses, find it quite difficult to do, and then figuring out what video it is, because sometimes it might just be one video that businesses need. I've got there your copy of Evergreen Assets, your book Evergreen Assets, and social media isn't evergreen. It's essentially a landfill of content. You're creating content, weekly or daily, or a couple of times a day, and some social networks will the content will disappear within a matter of days, hours, or minutes. But some businesses might just need one evergreen asset, one video, a sales video, a webinar, or an onboarding video that can really transform their business. So it's having those difficult conversations with yourself and not succumbing to, I'm going to say that word again, that incest, that marketing incest of copying other businesses and just doing what they're doing for the sake of it.
So I can't just say, I really liked that Dollar Shave Club video. Can we do that, please?
Oh, you can say that. You can absolutely say that. And I'll give you a really nice looking proposal and say it'll cost you this much. But that's what I would have done. But now I will explain, no, well, there's a reason that would work for that kind of business. But look at what your business is. I work with, let's say, kind of a HR expert I work with on their YouTube content. And they create, so much content on a weekly basis through their Zoom calls with their clients. They end up with 4 or 5 hours of video content every month just from their day-to-day activities. And that shows, and that content, if you watch it through, shows them as experts in their industry. And I said to them, I was like, why don't you repurpose this and put it out for other people to see? Because an organization like that, if you're, an accountant, HR, somebody that is an expert in an industry, if you can show that you're an expert, through your video content, then that is how you're going to bring in, so much more business. And it's, sometimes you don't even have to do any extra work. This client already had all this video content lying around. I was like, tell you what, let's just cut it up, put it online, and, you'll get loads more leads in, you'll save a load of money. And yeah, you don't have to dress up as a chicken or whatever they do in the Dollar Shave Club video. It's been a long time since I've seen that one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think I might be aging myself there. That's probably at least a decade old.
Oh God, yeah, don't remind me. Yeah, probably is.
It's interesting you mentioned evergreen assets, because in preparation for our little conversation today, we knew we were going to be talking video. So I thought, I know I talk about video a lot in evergreen assets. Do you have any idea how many times I've mentioned the word video in that book?
I don't, but I can, yeah.
Okay, it's 96.
Wow, okay.
96 mentions of video. Because for me, and it's interesting you mentioned about the 7 steps of the customer journey just now, because people might just think of video as being, it's an explainer video. It's a sales video. Whereas I think what I tried to do with Evergreen Assets was to plant those seeds throughout that customer journey. So actually, as a lead asset, you can actually put out the teaser trailer. This is who we are. You've never heard of us before, so let's explain who we are and the problem we solve, who we help and how we help them. It can be a nurture asset. This that we're doing here right now is our 112th monthly episode for our one subscriber who just keeps listening and just can't help himself. But it's that slow and steady drip out nurture. We do, obviously this is an audio podcast, but we do record video as well. We got sales assets. You helped us with the sales video for the 1% Club.
Yeah.
So we've collected this together. Fulfillment assets. I've been recording Loom videos for our new 1%ers today. Every single person replies to me and says, oh my God, I was waiting for the edit. I was waiting for the cut where you didn't say my name, and it was a real video. It was meant for me. And this is why I think I mentioned video throughout, was because it's so impactful. It is the ability to, if you're, for example, in our sales video, you have basically perfected me You put the perfect version of me out there as
Yes.
a sales tool, rather than the one where I stumble over my words and go, it's sort of like, and ramble on for about 15 minutes too long, as I'm doing in this segue. But it is so powerful to get that personality across, isn't it?
I think it is, and there's another element of it because I'm guilty of being a bit of a hypocrite. I spent the past 15 years telling small businesses to make videos themselves, to promote themselves, and my form of video marketing has been, my own videos. I'll get clients that will come to me and say, "We've seen that video you've done for that client. Can we have one similar?" And I'm like, "Yeah, great, fantastic. That's my pipeline." But I've not done a great deal of video marketing myself, putting my face out there on YouTube videos or social media, things like that. That is something I'm looking to change as I get more questions from small businesses about how to make videos. I'm like, well, okay, this is how you should do it, but let me, go and do it myself, and then we can have I'll have some, more of a track record on that sort of thing. But it's kind of like a celebrity angle as well. I think, I think at last count, it's like 500 hours are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Like, so a lot of people could think, okay, that's a lot of content. What's the point in me like uploading anything? But just the very nature of putting, a simple video on YouTube, some content on social media. So all those lurkers, essentially, who will watch your content, not get in touch, they'll follow you on social media, they'll see videos in your feed, you will then be positioned next to the Stephen Bartletts and everybody else that's in their feed, and they will see you as a bit of a celebrity figure. And so when you have that first contact, when they get in touch, for a quote, or they meet you in person, they feel like they already know you. And I've had that recently just with this kind of new Zoom setup that I've got here. It makes such an impact when clients meet you for the first time, because the conversations, it's as if you're on the third date already, because they've already got to, know, like, and trust you a lot sooner. And yeah, there is this element of kind of confidence as well. You were talking about, editing videos and, putting out the best version of yourself. And yeah, that's something that I've definitely struggled with. And it's something I'm, going to, hopefully put some hours in the next, few months, in the next, couple of years to get better at. But everyone struggles with that side of things. If you're an ambitious lifestyle business watching this, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's good for you, John, because you've done all these videos before and you've done 112 podcasts," or "It's good for me because I'm used to being behind a camera." But the point is, I'm used to being behind a camera.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like being in front of it as much as anyone else. When I was reading recently, I've discovered that I think it was Tom Hanks never watches himself back on camera. He hates that. Julia Roberts, I think, hates it as well. Steve Martin said that when he started doing stand-up, he had to fake confidence because he was so nervous on stage. Like, if you've seen Steve Martin in stand-up, he's like super exaggerated, really surreal, but he had to fake it until he made it. And so there is this element of, everybody has nerves, certainly when you're doing something for the first time, but it's putting in those hours and getting those first few videos out, whether it's to your, on social media to the public, or just to yourself, just the very act of turning on a camera and, recording a little video. I've recently started doing lives on YouTube just to get used to going live. Like, I think one person watched at some point, but the whole point of it was just for myself to learn and to get better at that, and sort of wallow in the fact that I don't really have much of an audience, so you can refine your voice, until the time comes to get in front of the camera. But like you said, when we were filming, we did a couple of takes. No one always gets it right first time, but
I was determined to be the first, but it didn't happen.
I can upload the first take if you want. I can do an alternate version and see, see what you think of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's I can't think who the stand-up comic is now, but they got this phrase which is like, for any ambitious anyone who got ambitions to go into stand-up, they said you've got to embrace the suck. And it's like, you are going to suck. You're going to bomb. You're going to just die on your ass. Yeah. And there is no, how do I avoid dying on my ass? You've just got to go and do it. And you've just got to get off on that stage and bomb, and then get up the next night and do it again and again and again. There's there's a phrase that I've used a few times in our world, and it was almost going to be a book title of mine because I just love the phrase so much. And it is start with shite. Because that's how we've got here. And again, we're not highly polished now, but oh my God, dear listener, if you had heard the first, what do you reckon, Jay, 25 episodes of this podcast?
111, I think.
Oh yeah, there we go. On the first good one. Brilliant.
Mick, you're the one who's going to be perfect. Isn't that amazing?
You're welcome.
But it was our early podcasts were ropey, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we saw. This is where we got our 1% improvements every week, really, wasn't it? Because we did a weekly podcast and we tried to improve on that 1% better each week. We've kind of got to that almost. We extended it to monthly now, so we don't have to have so many improvements. But yeah, that's kind of where we got. I don't think for me, and just to go back on your point just now, actually, was that you can't underestimate the amount of impact that providing your clients with a video of you can actually give, because most business owners won't do video, and videos are out of their realm. And if you send them a video, and I know John's Loom ones at the beginning of when people come and join us are so impactful. It's like, I actually heard from that author that I've read the books of, and he sent me a video which is bespoke to me. And that, you just cannot underestimate that impact that it has. And I kind of hear that on the welcome calls when new 1%ers come in. It's kind of like, oh yeah, John sent me a video. And it's just like, oh, kind of a almost celebrity in terms of it's that author that I read about, and I've got, really felt. And he sent it to me. He's taken that time to cross that massive barrier that I won't do. So actually, it just seems, you just can't underestimate that impact.
And it's a way of giving value as well. I think that's the problem. I see it a lot with clients I work with, and I'm sure spoken in the past about the benefits versus features elements. And a lot of people go into not just video, but a lot of marketing, just thinking about the features, thinking about their business. We want to make a video about how fantastic our business is, or our CEO wants to talk about this fantastic acquisition. And I still see like marketing companies doing that on LinkedIn now, just talking about themselves. And I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about what you think about yourself.
Yep.
You've got to find a way to turn that into a benefit for your audience. And you can do that with video as well. If perhaps your audience don't like to watch video messages, or you don't want to reply to social media DMs with, little video messages of you in your car or whatever, that's fine. But there will be something, again, along that roadmap that you can create that will give that value to your audience, that will make you appear like, that celebrity. We were talking about webinars earlier. That's something that pretty much any business can do, a proper sales webinar where you give value and then sell for the last 10%. You could do that on LinkedIn, you can do that on YouTube, and most industries will find a way that they can teach or share their expertise for 50 minutes or so, and then at the end say, oh, by the way, if you're interested, we're doing this thing for the next week or whatever. If you're interested, click a link and buy it below. And
it's that red flashing light, isn't it? It's there, it's scary, and it's a camera. It's not a real person they're talking to.
Well, that's the thing. It's, I spent so many years behind the camera telling people what to do in front of it, and I was like, yeah, I maybe should get in front of it a little bit more. And it is. I like that. That new phrase of yours. I think.
Do you see people change when they see the red light go on? Like you're talking to them, you have a lovely natural conversation. Like this guy is really switched on, really knows his stuff, and you put the red light on, and he freezes.
Absolutely. I mean, there are certain clients and like individuals I work with that I know that they are just going to turn into statues, and a lot of it is all a mixture of preconceptions that they have about video, but also false kind of ideals they have about the audience and what the audience are going to think. So I think the main thing is not to almost care what the audience are going to think about your video, because if you're constantly second guessing what you're saying, then you're not going to say anything. Yeah. I've had off camera conversations with people and saying, it's just going to be just a little interview about the work you've done. There's no wrong answers. We'll talk for 10 minutes. We'll use 30 seconds. And people do just clam up. And it's that red light. Maybe it's, a previous bad experience, but I find that generally it's not. And it's kind of a generational thing as well, which makes me feel even older because, you know, there's a certain audience and age of people now who just are making videos constantly and putting them on social media and are used to it. But then there's this other side of you know, other audience that maybe aren't used to that.
Yeah.
But it is just getting that habit of creating content just for yourself, just getting used to being in front of the lens.
Maybe not beating yourself up for not being at the level that when you scroll your feed and you see the Stephen Bartlett's or the Gary V videos, you think, oh my God, I need to be as good as that. I don't know if you remember in Big Ideas, you know, it's the bottom book, I think, on your plant pot there behind you. I wrote about Gary V and his first video where he is just this nervous wreck in a craply lit, poorly filmed video. He goes, hello, I'm Gary and I'm the chief product officer at Wine Library. It wasn't even called winelibrary.tv back then, but whatever, you know, he was a bag of nerves. It was a terrible video. And you compare that with where he is now, and it's a phenomenal journey. But he had to start there because that's where he was. He doesn't get to where he is now without starting with shite. There's definitely a book title there, isn't there?
I think it is, yeah. If I don't get there first, I think I have more experience with starting with shite than you, possibly. So maybe I could do the foreword or something. But yeah, and it's also there's a lot of pressure on that first time as well. Like, this is officially my first podcast. We tried to record this last year, but you know, burnout got to me and we didn't have time for it. About 5 years ago, a similar thing happened as well. And I got halfway through a recording and just clammed up and I just had to stop. And when you are starting something, you put so much pressure on yourself to do it right. And I always called myself, I've always said that I'm a perfectionist, but I'm also pretty shit at a lot of things, which makes me not a very good perfectionist because I'm always, you know, angry that I don't get things as you know, well as I could. But then it is once you push through, you know, public speaking for the first time and you get off stage, once you've done that first 5 minutes, you're like, oh, that wasn't as bad. What was I worried about? I've been waiting. Why have I been waiting 5 or 10 years to do this?
Where was the rotten fruit being thrown at me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was only 2 pieces of, you know, rotten fruit and it was great. You know, I handled it really well. So yeah, that's the thing that people are looking a lot of the time for the secret to talking on camera or the secret to whatever it is. And a lot of the time it is just do the thing, you know, do the thing a lot, do it badly. And something that I said a minute ago was that you have to enjoy the anonymity that you get when you're starting out. Because, you know, if you do it often enough, then that anonymity will disappear and you'll start to build an audience and you'll go into it. But enjoy the fact that you can go live on Instagram or YouTube and no one's watching, because then you can make mistakes and keep a tally of how many mistakes you make. And eventually those mistakes will go down. So yeah, that's something I'm hoping to do a bit more of this year. Make more mistakes. Yeah, that's the that's a target, I think.
Well, if you're a perfectionist, can you aim to make perfect mistakes?
I can do, yes.
Or you could be a Trump. I make more mistakes than anyone. No one is better at making mistakes than me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I could say that. Yeah.
Jason, I'm reminded here of Michelle's journey with video. Talking about that fear of getting started, the abandoning the need to make those first few videos perfect, and then culminating in some success. So do you want to just walk the listeners through what we forced Michelle to do and where that's led her? And who Michelle is, of course, for those who haven't heard Michelle's previous podcast appearance.
There is a podcast to do. I can't remember which number it is, but yes. Well, Michelle's kind of started really just kind of talking into her Facebook, just launching videos into Facebook when she was doing her 10,000 steps a day challenge. She was just updating with ideas and tips for people that might want to take part in that 10,000 steps challenge. It was fairly short videos, fairly quick tip kind of thing. But yeah, we kind of coerced her then into doing them a bit more regular, didn't we? That was a great start, but actually you've stopped kind of thing. And yeah, so we coerced her into doing some more, and she did those into the benefit of her own group and then into our group, and then went back out again into the public, didn't she? so much so that when the pandemic hit, she was able to go live on Facebook and do talks about what dear Rishi, the then Chancellor, was doing for businesses and helping out small businesses with all those things. So actually doing those as a daily update almost, and yeah, kind of building her authority in the realms that she's in accountancy, and yeah, and that was her steps into it, and then that going into a YouTube channel, and it turned her evergreen assets on YouTube into a constant source of leads. So yeah, quite a journey over a period of time, but yeah, got to the stage where actually it's just generating leads now as an evergreen asset.
From I could never do leads to I could never do video to a constant store, greatest source of leads in what, 18 months?
Pretty much. Yep. As an accountant.
And the great thing about Michelle, because I've spoken to her in the past as well, and she's a great example of properly keeping video simple, because she does, I think, all of her videos on Zoom or wherever she happens to be in the world. If she's on holiday, then she'll have her same virtual background. She's got a system for, putting thumbnails and titles on her YouTube content. And I can't remember the number she told me, but she can trace, significant sales back to those videos that she put on her YouTube channel, because no one else is doing it. People are thinking that YouTube, you have to be a big Mr. Beast or, a YouTuber with a big budget doing all these like shock and clickbait videos. And it's like, no, YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the planet. It works in the same way as Google. If people have got a problem, they will put it into Google. The top 3 things on Google will usually be a video. And if their question is niche enough, it will go to your video. And then you build that know, like, trust element. It doesn't matter if you film it on an iPhone 3 or a potato or whatever it is. If people are looking, I've been to Glastonbury a few times, and every time I leave Glastonbury, it's always a very sad day, because I've got to put the tent away and I've got to fold that tent back up. And the first thing I do is go straight onto YouTube, and the first video that I see, how to fold down a 3-person tent in 5 seconds or whatever. It's never 5 seconds. But if it wasn't for that video, I would have lost like 3 or 4 tents by now. And, so every customer of yours will have those burning questions, those FAQs that you've got on the bottom of your website or whatever it is. If you can answer those questions as videos, then when people are typing those words into Google, they'll find your videos. And it's the same for me. I think probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I did a video on release forms. So, should you use a release form when you're making a video, which is a little model release. It's just a form that you get your contributors to sign when you're making a video. And that's my highest rated video on YouTube. I still get leads from that, and people downloading my free course and free content just from that video from like 5 or 6 years ago. You can never guess which video is going to do the best, but if you just answer those questions that your audience has, and in the same way Michelle has done, just with an iPhone, if there's, a couple of emails you get through the week from different clients all ask you the same thing, then you're like, right, well, maybe I should make a video of this instead of answering the question all the time. Yeah. And then you do that, and then next week do another one again. And if you want, build those 1% improvements where you get a light, you get a nicer camera, but it's not essential. It's not, you don't have to do it that way. Just putting out that content in the simplest way possible is the best way to start.
Yeah, and then you end up famous to the few again, don't you?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'd love to take you through your journey, if that's okay, because you've already intimated about your freelancing. You've also intimated about burnout at some point, box set media. You've talked about, and off camera before we come on here, you've just come back from a rather long holiday somewhere else. So that's quite a transformation between freelancing a few years ago to kind of burning out in that period. So I'd just love to go through those steps, really, just to help any other viewers, listeners who may are in that journey at the moment, and how you can kind of come out that other end.
Yeah, sure. So when I started Box Set, I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't necessarily want to run a business, and there are 2 very clear differences to that. I knew I didn't want to be an employee. I was a terrible employee. I never turned up on time. If somebody told me to do something, I'd be like, no, sorry, not doing that. I'm going to do things my own way because that's better. And so I disappeared traveling to Australia for about 6 months in 2009, and coincidentally met a few freelancers in the industry while I was out there. And so when I came back, I was like, okay, maybe I can, be my own boss and make a go of making videos for a living, but just like off my own back, and it was scary, but I felt I had some little entrepreneurial seed in me. So the first week I was back from Australia all those years ago, I emailed basically everybody I knew to try and get some work. I thought, this is all I know. This is all the marketing I know. Cold outreach, random emails. Hello, it's me. Can you give me some work, basically? And I managed to get, within that first week, 3 days filming in Paris for some really boring pharmaceutical conference. I wouldn't even do it now because it was so boring. But this cameraman I know didn't want to go out and do it. So he said, can you go out for 3 days, use my camera kit, film this conference and come back? Camera guy lived on the road next to me as well, which I never knew he did, but he was always there. And that cleared my traveling debt within a week of coming back. 6 months in Australia, 1 week of work, and completely cleared. I was like, okay, there might be something in this. Let me stick to it for a bit longer. And so the entrepreneurial seed in me started to grow a little bit more, and I started to read about marketing and about sales and all the nice shiny things that you do when you start a business. And as I was growing and taking on more work and more clients, I moved from freelancing into box set and launched box set around 2010, I think it was, because I wanted to get bigger jobs and work with more established clients. So that was the first step there. But there are other businesses like similar age of to me, who'd been around a couple of years, and I could see them expanding in a certain way. They were taking on staff, they were taking on premises. And as a new entrepreneur, I was thinking, okay, is this a path I want to go down? Like I knew I enjoyed the freelance work, I enjoyed the doing of the work, but I also do want to build a bit of an empire, whatever that means to me. And to me, I wasn't sure if that involved, signing a lease for a studio and dealing with payroll and HR and that side of things, because I'd been in companies before where that wasn't done very well. And I thought, I don't want to be that boss who doesn't do that well. And I don't think in my heart, I didn't think that was what I wanted to do. And I remember I was filming a business roundtable about 10 years ago. So while I was having these discussions in my head, I was thinking, okay, what should I do? This business roundtable I was filming, they were talking about starting a business. And one of the entrepreneurs said, I think he ran a recruitment company, a big recruitment company. And he just said, I wish I was a lifestyle business, because all these stresses of running a business would go away. And everyone around the table agreed. They were just like, oh, yeah, it'd be so much better. And it wasn't in a condescending way. It was a case of, yeah, running a business is great, but it's a pain in the arse. And I really wish I just had the ambition that I just wanted to be a lifestyle business. And that was the first time I almost gave myself permission to call myself a lifestyle business, because all other people in my niche or other video production companies and I guess, marketing agencies, that kind of umbrella term, they were all happy to shout about their overheads and their premises and their staff. And I worried that this would be a negative for me. I thought, I need to hide this a bit. I need to use we a lot in marketing. I don't want to put my face on things because they'll think I'm a one-man band and things like this. So I struggled for quite a few years. And then, once, and it's only really been in the past few years since I've joined the 1% Club. And, obviously this is the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's the perfect balance of what I am. And since I've started embracing that side more in my marketing and how I present myself online, I've gradually been able to, I think quite naturally, get rid of those clients that I don't like and that I haven't enjoyed working for and that aren't, pleasurable to work for and that don't give me the best work. I move more towards working with the clients that I do enjoy working with, that I have things in common with, that I would happily go to the pub for a drink for. And I wouldn't have thought that a few years ago. I just almost, were resigned myself to thinking, oh, this is just the type of client I work with. I don't, I enjoy them. I enjoy the work, but not as much as maybe I should do. And I think that's a good lesson for a lot of I think people starting out or lifestyle businesses is that marketing should repel the people that you don't want to work with as much as attract the ones that you do. And that was, by actually owning the fact that I'm a lifestyle business has, coincidentally done that. So people who come to me and people who stick to me, I think are doing it because they realize my values and what I stand for and appreciate the way I work. I'm not a one-man band. I have a great team of freelancers that I work with, so I don't have to deal with payroll. My industry works really well with freelancers. All the best people are freelancers, so I can capitalize on that. If we need a studio, I can hire one in. I don't have extensive overheads that clients aren't paying for, or that clients are paying for but don't need. I'm not adding on all these extras onto invoices just to try and cover these costs. It's a case of, no, if this is what you want, this is what it costs, and I'll do a good job. And yeah, in those early years, coming to terms with being a lifestyle business wasn't easy, but as soon as it did, just a whole weight lifted, and it just seemed to naturally attract, clients that are just so much more fun to work with. And what I originally thought was a business that I was kind of coasting with and just happy to have it exist. Like the past few years since being in the 1% Club, I've started to enjoy being a business owner, which I never thought I would do. I have 3 filming projects next week, and I'm not going out on any of them because I don't need to. I've got a team that can do that for me. I've got clients that trust that the job will get done to a brilliant standard without me there, and I can focus on the running of the business back here, which a few years ago I would have thought, no, I'm never going to get around to doing that. That's not going to be for me. But I found a way to make it work, and yeah, all thanks to you guys, I guess. Let's say yeah.
I don't mind taking all the credit. That's absolutely fine. Mick. Thank you for that. One of the things I wrote down that you said there, I always wanted to be my own boss, but I never wanted to run a business. And you alluded at the end there that that's flipped now, that's changed. Do you think that's because what it means to run a business or to own a business, to be a business owner, has changed in your mind over the last couple of years?
I think so. I think it's also been within reach now, or it is, it is within reach, and those elements of it I enjoy. I think I was worried that being a business owner would involve all the elements that I don't enjoy. Like, let's say networking, for example. I don't like going to face-to-face networking events. I thought, okay, if I'm a business owner, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to have to do. Or just simple things like client meetings. I was not very confident in client meetings at all because I almost, outsourced that to other people. I wouldn't take the responsibility for that because I thought, oh no, I'm not the kind of person that can talk to clients initially and guide them through, their concepts and their videos. But once I took ownership that no, this is my business, it's no one else's. I have my own vision and values and the way to do things. I have my own types of projects and clients that I work with. Then I can go into those meetings with so much more confidence and clarity on what I can deliver for clients. A few years ago, I may have been approached by clients with a terrible idea for a video and gone, yeah, okay, if that's what you want, yeah, I guess we can do that. Whereas now I'm much more confident in saying, okay, I can see why you want to do this. We can do that. However, for XYZ reason, this may be something that's worth considering. So I think confidence is a huge part of it. And I think those initial doubts and like falsehoods that I had about what a business owner was, once I think came clean about being a lifestyle business and realized that, oh, the sky isn't falling in, and a majority, if not all of my, let's say a majority of my clients are multinational companies. They're international global players. They're blue chip companies, but they're happy to work with a lifestyle business. And I never thought that would be a thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a people to people thing. And the people I'm dealing with in, let's say, heads of marketing or marketing, executives or account holders are people. And sometimes they are lifestyle businesses as well. And they just want someone to trust to do a job well. They're not interested in, red tape and dragging projects out for as long as possible. They want to find someone they can trust to do a job well. and yeah, that's been a revelation, really.
It's interesting you said kind of come clean as a lifestyle business owner. And I think I kind of did the same when I first came out as a lifestyle business owner and abandoned the, I need to have a big business. I need to grow. I need to have a dozen member of staff. We need to have significant premises. And it was a lot of kind of willy waving at the time. And it was the who you hang around with. I was hanging around people who were scaling their businesses. So that I got caught up in that. And I alluded to it in Big Ideas where it did feel, okay, guys, I'm giving up a little bit. I'm quitting on the ambition side of things, and I'm just going to settle for being a lifestyle business. I do blame Peter Jones for a lot of that back in the day. I'm sure he's not as bad anymore.
I was going to say, it's probably the same time you stopped watching Dragon's Den.
It probably would have been.
That's when the revelation came. It's like, I can have a lifestyle business now, and Peter Jones isn't going to tell me every week that I can't.
Yeah. But it was because that, for me, as an impressionable young man starting out on his business journey, yes, young Jason, watching The Apprentice with Alan Sugar in his pinstripe suit, getting out of his Rolls Royce, getting on the private jet into the city of London, then flipping over to Dragon's Den and watching Peter Jones in his pinstripe suit, looking down his nose at anybody who wasn't also suited and booted, and wasn't planning on at least 10 million turnover. Oh, you'll only ever be a lifestyle business. And it was that negative stereotype that stopped me from being honest about what I wanted.
And I think those two programs, Apprentice and Dragon's Den, are all about investment. It's about investors looking for those businesses that they want to pump a load of money in. But the customers are what really matters for small business owners. There are those small businesses that want to get investments and want to start small and just get an injection of money. But ultimately, customers don't care how big you are. They just care about the results.
Do you know what I love about the whole Dragon's Den thing? So what is Peter Jones's most successful investment from Dragon's Den? What's the one he's really known for?
I'd say, is it Jessop's? Is that the camera company? That's the only one I can think of.
I would say it's probably the jeans wearing, dreadlocked, guitar playing Levi Roots.
Yes.
Who started his business in his mum's bathtub, mixing up the reggae sauce. There was a lifestyle business. He was selling at Camden Market. That was a lifestyle business. Yes, he's taken it into Sainsbury's. It's now a global empire, but there was an ambitious lifestyle business owner.
And he wanted the investment, so that's why he came to Dragon's Den, but not everybody wants that. I know I certainly wouldn't want to have investment and all the attachments that come with the money for that. So it definitely gives like a skewed vision of what running a business is. I think maybe you guys need to start your own Apprentice, but for lifestyle businesses instead. I'd invest in that. I just I've got cameras, I've got microphones, we could make it happen.
Yeah, I just need some pithy lines and just work. Can I work a pun in here, please? Yes.
Anyway, just before we let you go, Mick, I'd love to just touch back on the Video Made Simple Academy that's there, because I think you've got some tools and stuff for any small business owner to kind of download and to kind of help them on their video journey that you'd like to share, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So Box Set Media is my main business, but because I'm trying to work more with small business owners and kind of put back into lifestyle business and the network that's helped me, I am starting the Video Made Simple Academy, which aims to be like the world's largest video marketing school for small businesses, because a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners will look to, let's say, YouTubers or social media stars to make their video content. And actually, I think there's a lot of value that I can give with my knowledge in making videos for business and how small businesses can take that on. So if anybody wants a free course, I've got a free 60-minute video marketing masterclass. So if you go to videomadesimple.co.uk, you can sign up there. And there's a bunch of free script templates there as well, and a YouTube checklist, and a few other bits. And you can also download my video marketing roadmap as well. So if you're maybe a bit stuck and not sure where to start on video, if you've listened to this or you've watched a few things and you're like, actually, yeah, video is what I want to do next in my business, then the roadmap will tell you the best way to do that. So yeah, that's videomadesimple.co.uk.
Thank you very much. That roadmap is fantastic as well. I know you shared that with our 1%ers at our 1% Live last year, and just those 7 steps is just gives you an idea of where to start, or where you, as you say, where the gaps may well be in your journey for the customer. And actually, there's places there and loads of ideas that you can use to fill those gaps. So yeah, so that roadmap's great. Thank you very much. The last question we always ask is, this is the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, and what does ambitious lifestyle business mean to you?
I think it's about figuring out what growth means to you. And we've alluded to it a little bit, but I think my impression of a lifestyle business, my impression of growth is doing certain things that put my business towards where I want it to be. Growth doesn't have to be getting premises, bringing on staff, taking on investment. Growth for me is making those 1% improvements every week. It's tweaking that landing page. It's being ambitious to take your business to where you want it to be, I think, and not following whoever you're seeing on LinkedIn or any competitors, and you're trying to model yourself out of that. You need to find your own path, I think. I'm not sure if that really answers your question, but it's
you're basically saying don't be incestuous, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's sign off with that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. What does an ambitious lifestyle business mean to you? Avoid incest.
Yes. Step 1. Chapter 1 in the book is going to be that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, Mick. Thank you, dear listener, once again for joining us. And he's dear listener as well, individual. As always, you can catch this video on YouTube. You can see exactly what we've been talking about as well. We will see you and hear you next month on the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. See you later, guys.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.